Hello, Civics! It's Miss Schmidl. I'm here to give you guys some tips on how to complete our assessment, Create a Nation. So I've already opened up my template that you guys have. So what you'll be doing with this is we're going to use this as our summative, or kind of like a test of what you should have learned from our first unit, or half of our first unit for civics on the government side. So we were learning about the purposes of a government and characteristics of a nation. And you're going to use those ideas to help you create a nation of your own. So first of all, we have this template here that you're going to fill in. You'll notice some parts are blank, and where it's blank, if you click on it, there's a text box for you to fill in with information. So if this is hard for you to read, the first thing I would recommend doing is zooming in a little bit so where you can read it. So first it says, step 1, in the box to the left, draw an aerial view from above of your nation. Use color. You can draw or insert shapes from the insert menu. You could also create your nation in another program or by hand drawing it. Just insert a picture of it in the white box. So if you go down here, you could go to the insert menu and you could insert different shapes to draw here. So I could say I want this shape and I'm going to draw it in here, and then I could change the colors up here, make it green. Then I could insert some other shapes like lines, and I can curve it, and I can say, okay, I want it to be blue for my river. Oops, undo, insert, line, curvy, and then you can draw it on here. Right, and maybe that's my river, and then oops, do that. As you can see, that's a little bit harder. Maybe you're better at this than me. What I would do if I were a CUPE in civics is I would go down here to my search bar and I would look for the Paint app. And in Paint, I feel a little bit more confident in my skills. So I would use the Paint app to draw. So I'm going to pick my brush. I want a really fat brush. I'm going to draw my island. Okay, then I'm going to go get my paint bucket. Oops. I'm going to fill this all in that color. Then I'm going to go get another brush. I want a skinnier one. I want it blue. I'm going to draw a river that goes across my island. Then I'm going to get some brown, and I'm going to get another brush or pen. I think I'll do the marker. And I'm going to make some mountains down here. Then I'm going to get another pen and some black. And I'm going to draw in my cities. And then lastly, I'm going to get my text box and I'm going to name them. So I'm going to name this Schmidlberg. I'm going to name this one Frankivania after my son. I'm going to name this one here after my other son. Name it Jamestown. Okay. Then I'm going to name some mountains here. I'm going to call this the Chocolate Mountains. Okay, you can have as much detail as you want. Then when I'm done, I just go here and I'm going to go File, Save As. I'm going to name it Schmargus. Give Miss Yargus some props here. And I'm just going to save it on my desktop. But I want to save it as a PNG because that gives me the best quality. So I'm going to save it on my desktop. Close it. Then when I come here, I can go insert, image, upload from the computer. And on my desktop, I should be able to find my Schmargus, open. And then I can put it here in my box. And that was a lot simpler, I think, than using the shapes. Or if you're someone who is a really good artist, I am not. Many of you are very talented artists. I am not. Then I could draw by hand and take a picture and save that picture or email it to myself using your phone or your laptop and do the same thing. So the next steps I have to do is I have to name this. So this is the great nation of Schmargus. And I'm going to make that text a little bit bigger. Then it says, how many people live in your nation? Well, I'm going to say that there are 250,000 people. How big is my nation? I'm going to say it's 20 square miles. So we are packed, packed, packed. Okay. Then it says, where is your nation? Is it an island? Is it part of a continent? Which hemisphere is it in? Use the world map, mark where the nation would be. So I'm going to just take a shape and I'm going to pick a little circle and I'm going to make my circle red. Oops. Only I was not clicking on that yet. I'm going to make my little circle and I'm going to put it down here. That's where I want it. And now I'm going to change it red. So that's where Schmargus is down here. I think Miss Yargus and I would rather be on an island in the middle by the tropics. Okay, so then on the second page asks me some more questions. It says, answer the following questions about your nation in complete sentences. How does your country resolve conflicts? How does your country provide security and defense? How does your country create public policy? What public services does your country provide? What cultural traditions does your country preserve or protect? So I know for Schmargus, in Schmargus, I'm going to just make up something that answers that question. In Schmargus, we preserve our culture by having a festival to celebrate the Chocolate Mountains. Everyone gets off work and we all eat different chocolate desserts in the foothills of our famous mountain range. Oh, here's Grammarly coming in handy. So then I'm just making up answers here that kind of show my thinking that I understand the purposes of government and I'm applying it in a new way. Then I have some critical thinking questions. These questions are about governments and nations in general, not about the nation I created. So then I'm answering these questions thinking about how does scarcity affect governments? Which of the 5 purposes of governments is the most important? Why? You guys practiced that question in your journal the other day. And then which of the 4 characters of a nation or of a state or a nation is the most important? Why? So this right-hand box, step 5, is critical thinking about purposes and characteristics. This side here, the left side, step 4, and the front page is more the creative side. I hope that helps you guys think about how to do this project and some easy tricks on how to make it a little bit more manageable in this virtual school. In real life, I wish we could just color on this, but this is kind of a different way you could do it. But I highly recommend using paint. It doesn't have to be, you know, we're not Picasso, we're not Leonardo da Vinci. Some of you might be, I am not. So this is perfectly acceptable. So use paint. You can try using shapes, whatever you want to do, that's fine by me. When you're done, you'll hit submit. Make sure your questions are answered on both sides, and I will take a look at it. Good luck, guys.